Hello, everybody. My name is Jakub. I'm CMO of PitchGround, and this is another webinar with founder of Apploye, Sheikh Shourav, and advisor of Apploye, Asif Rahman. And it's going to be so interesting today because in this age, we have so many distractions around us. We have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have social media, we have our phone all the time in front of us. And it's really difficult to stay focused and stay productive and just do the deep work. And we will be discussing on this webinar the exact ways how you can increase your productivity. And Asif and Sheikh will be sharing some incredible tips and tricks based on the real data, based on the neuroscience, and with like proven track record that they actually work. So it's going to be super interesting. And guys, I think if you have any questions so far, just leave them in the comment below in the Facebook chat on our Facebook page or in our Facebook group regarding the productivity. But now, without further ado, guys, how is it everything going in the office? Are you being productive?
Yeah, everything is going great. We had like a lot of like interesting discussion after yesterday's webinar. So we are really looking forward to dig deep into productivity and talk into personal level. Yesterday we spoke about like organization, but ultimately everything starts with ourselves. So this is a topic like very close to both of our heart. I think like we could get started.
Okay, so I would like to add that like for some people productivity comes naturally. So for example, Asif, he's very productive person and he can really wake up in the morning. And for some people, where you have to enforce productivity in your life, like people who think too much or like have analysis paralysis, those people, they really struggle to make themselves productive. So I am the second kind of guy. So if you're the first kind of guy who is already productive, but you want to make something more out of it, you should listen to the first part of today's webinar. And if you're someone who is struggling and you want to make a system and build a system based on neuroscience and what I am following, so it will be discussed on the second part of the webinar.
So basically, this webinar is for both parties. So even though if you're a really productive person, or if you're struggling, you should stick around and watch all these tips and tricks. Just a little sneak peek of what we can expect. We'll be discussing a habit loop. We'll be using a path to least resistance to avoid procrastination, or willpower is a limited resource. We will learn that and how to use it as your advantage. So guys, I think we can jump right into it. If you have any questions so far for people who are watching, drop them below in the comments and we'll be answering them one by one in the end of the webinar, or if it will be really about the context of what we are talking about right now, we will answer it right away. But don't feel afraid to ask questions. We are seeing them all. So guys, I think we can jump right into it. What do you say? You there? It looks that there are some internet problems that guys have frozen. That was actually the reason why we started a little bit late because guys had some problems in their with their connection. So let's hope that it will be resolved really soon, because they are just frozen right now and I cannot see. I mean, I cannot see them moving and I cannot hear them doing anything. But meanwhile, for everybody who is joining and who is still watching, thanks a lot for sticking around. Let's hope that this will be resolved really soon. And today we are discussing personal productivity hacks. So if you're someone who is struggling with productivity and you are just cannot get yourself to work, this webinar is for you. And Sheikh and Asif, they prepared really good tips on how you can increase your productivity in your work life and in your personal life as well. But right now they're still frozen. Hopefully they will unfreeze soon. Guys, are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
All right, perfect. You were frozen for like 2 minutes right now, so.
Really sorry for that. Today, internet is interrupting.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, people are still watching, so I think we can jump right into it with to your topics you've prepared. All right, it looks that we are having the same problem again. This topic was something I was really looking forward, but it seems that we might need to have to do it some different time because the internet connection seems not to be working today in Apploye's office enough. But I mean, let's give it another shot. Thanks everybody for sticking around. I know that this isn't something we actually expected. All right, guys, you there?
Yeah.
All right, I have no idea what is happening, but people are still watching, people are still sticking around, so it's good.
If there's any problem, once again, then I would change the room and change the internet. So just
Okay.
telling that, you know.
Okay. So I think we can jump into the first topic you guys prepared, and I think it was discussing the habit loop. So guys, what is the habit loop?
So actually, those topics we'll discuss on second part of this webinar.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Part of it would be Asif will discuss his experience about tracking his time and how it helped him being more productive.
All right, it sounds good. Before we'll jump right into it, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us right below in this video, and we will be answering them throughout the webinar. So Asif, what do you do to stay productive?
Yeah, we actually prepared a presentation. So
okay, amazing. So yeah, you can start sharing your screen.
Yeah. So ultimately, it's actually divided in like few parts. So let's go to the first slide. First, let's look at like how an average American's daily routine looks like. So if you look at like the time spent per hour per day, like it says like most of the Americans sleep for 9.5 hours. I don't know like if it's really true for everyone. I know people who even sleep just like 4 and 5 hours because probably they have like 2 jobs or like they're
That's
working.
a lot.
Yeah.
9.5 hours.
But when you actually look at any of those charts, even if you start tracking your own time, and if you make this kind of chart for yourself, you will be very shocked to see like how you spend your time. Mm-hmm. And the reason is this is like an usual study. So, what I did back in 2009, I started using the first application to track my own time, and that application was not like Apploye. It was a very like simple application that does only one thing. Like it will only track my own computer, and it will actually give an idea like what kind of application I'm using, what kind of website I'm visiting, and overall you could actually get those data. And that application also did not actually storing all the data by yourself. So I had to actually export it and bring those data in an Excel file, so I could actually make sense of those data with like longer time. So
I see.
I shared yesterday, like it was pretty much shocking for me to find out when I was actually looking at 5-year data for me, for my data, that like in an average, I was spending like almost 14 hours per day in my computer. So right now, if you're using like iPhone has something called like screen time. If you enough time, it will actually show and distinguish like how you're using like social apps, how you're using the like all the messengers and other things. And if you have not looked at those data before, if you look at right now, you will be pretty shocked how much time you are actually wasting per day in social media or like YouTube or Instagram. So like knowing how you are actually using it is the first thing. So this chart shows like we spend a lot of time doing a lot of like different things. I would say like leisure and sports is very important, but uh, when you are working, this data shows like one portion as working, but are you really working in that time? So that is very important. So personal productivity, I will divide it in two ways. First thing is time management, then
Mm-hmm.
evolution. So the first part about time management is actually number one thing will be like set goal correctly, because if you do not have a like set goal, you can't actually measure like or like evaluate how you are actually doing for it. And you have to set priority properly, because maybe you have like 5 core goal in a single day, but you need to start from one. You need to prioritize, right? I will go more deeper into like how
Okay.
prioritize
Okay.
actually use my prioritization. And I will always do another thing. If when I actually make a list, prioritize, then I will actually put time frame on it. It's not that I have to actually get something done only within time, and if I'm actually doing it like, you need to have an idea like this is a task that I could allocate 1 hour, so you have an
Mm-hmm.
idea to start. The fourth thing will be like taking breaks between tasks. I would say like how I do it. Like uh, for an example, like I will probably start my day with a like task list. So
Mm-hmm.
and I will always measure like how much percentage of my task is actually complete in any particular time of the day. So as soon as I finish something, like there is another concept of like you could be really happy in very small achievement of your life. So some people like they have like big goals in their life, and they're like very intense about like reaching to the target or something. For me, I'm a kind of person like I will divide my task, I will divide my priority and goal in a small chunk, and as soon as I'm getting done with only even a single one, I will be happy. So
Mm-hmm.
my small happiness, and as soon as I'm completing something and I'm happy, I will actually probably just take a walk or like get a drink or have a coffee or like
I
walk
see.
into somebody in the office. So it's very important that you are not actually always like doing something or like thinking on your head. You need to actually take like a small break.
So you
That's
you actually start building that momentum because of these small tasks, and dopamine will be produced into your brain, and you will feel more happy because you're actually doing some progress. Makes total
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, do you know like why it's actually very important? Because you see, our life is pretty complex. If you compare our life, human life, like 100 years ago, they have like less distractions, they have like less relationship to take care, and a lot of like less distraction. But our life is complex, and we are making it even more complex. So with the time, like we do not have this capacity to actually even like balance between things. So I do believe like if you do not create like this synergy to be happy in very small things, uh,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it will be very hard for you to keep going. That's why like I would actually prioritize between like breaking the task in a small chunk, and then actually as soon as you get done with something, then you take some time break, and then actually organize yourself again and look at the priorities, how much you are done for a day and what you need to get done. The number 6 will be remove non-essential tasks. I think like we founders or entrepreneurs are like really bad at this. We think like we need to actually take care of everything, every little chunk of work, every little things that we are doing. We really need to actually get over like some of the things that probably possible to do beside us.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I think like there are a lot of like studies, there are a lot of good books I have written about it, like how it's very important to understand like you don't need to actually do everything by yourself. Like me and Shourav, we talk about this a lot. Like Shourav will always tell me, like, if I'm actually doing a particular responsibility for a company, what about the all other things that are not being like properly done or something? How do I take care of it? Or do I need to actually think about those as well? It's very important to like empower people and like tell people to do those things instead of trying to do everything by ourselves. So it's very important that where you are actually most important, where you have the most value, and instead of trying to do everything, like keep your priority very intact, keep your goal what you have set already, and I would always say like plan ahead, like though it's true you never know a lot of like uncertain things, but I had a like very interesting quote from I'm following for almost like 15 years in that says like in any work a plan is an action. So it doesn't mean like whatever I am actually trying to do, whatever actually goal or other things I'm setting, I will always plan properly. I was that kind of student, like before an exam or study, I will actually spend more time on planning, like what I'm going to study, how I'm going to study, and how I'm actually going to reach from
I
one
see.
point instead of really studying. So like I like to plan more. That's not good though. I understand that, but like it's very important to actually plan properly. So
Talking about number 6, of course you can delegate some tasks, but there are also tasks that you can completely eliminate, that you just don't have to do them at all. Like, I mean, there are some really minor tasks that are just there, and if you don't make them, it really doesn't something happen. Like, it won't be missed or anything. So it's quite important to like prioritize, as you're saying. Is this something I can delegate? Do I need to do it myself, or can I eliminate it at all? I mean, like, all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, and most of the time I do see like when we are actually doing something very passionately, we have this problem even more. We think like we need to do everything right. We need to have our hands in everything. If we are not involved, maybe it will not come up as like 100%. So, but ultimately, it's impossible for you to actually be involved in everything, right?
Yes.
So, like managing things in this way is very important. And I could actually talk a little bit about like time management and this thing as well. How I start my day all the time. I could have a like task list that I decide for a week, or I have for a year or a month, because I'm a kind of person who likes to celebrate the yearly chart that I prepared at the beginning of the year, and I will always actually try to go back to this chart, how much I have like come across already.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, start of the day will always start with a like task list, that what I want to actually get done today. For a lot of us founders, we have so many things to take care of, and we feel like we need to actually get everything done immediately or like by today. But
Mm-hmm.
if you not actually set a task list, and if you do not actually prioritize and like schedule properly, it will be impossible to do. So like I will start my day with a task list. I will actually schedule. I will put like proper time, how much time I want to spend per a task or something. In the next slide, I could actually probably give another advice, like how I personally actually put time on a task. And I do see like this is a problem for a lot of marketers, a lot of programmers. We spoke a little bit about that yesterday as well. Like maybe let's consider you are a programmer. You are actually going through a list of tasks that is being assigned in like GitHub or something. And when you look at one of the issues or one of the like development tasks, sometimes we think like, okay, I need to get those done by a week. You have like 3 features to develop. You have a week time, and if you do not actually prioritize or put time, what will happen? Maybe you will actually spend most of the time, maybe 60% of your time, just to get 20% done or something. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will actually measure the value of the task. So this is a task. If my hour value is like $100 an hour, how much this task actually worth? Then I will actually back calculate, like, so that many hour is actually okay to spend on that task. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my calculation of like weight of the task. then I will try to get this done by this time. Sometimes it happens like a new complexity arises because something related to something else. So, but if you do not prioritize, if you do not try to value the task, you will not be able to actually properly understand how much time you really need to spend on that task. So for self-evolution, like you need to create this discipline for yourself. It's not like somebody is imposing something on you. Like today we are actually talking more about our own discipline, more about our productivity and own how we could be more efficient by ourselves. And as I am sharing about my own experience, how I track my own time, how I try to actually do even better. Shourav was saying that I'm kind of person who probably use time better. I do not think that. I probably just have a like better standard for myself. So I probably want to do even more that I'm actually doing right now. That's my standard. If I'm reaching something, I'm probably setting my standard even higher. So for me, it's very important to evaluate and self-evaluate. So for employee, like the way we spoke yesterday, like if we are giving them a tips, if when you are actually getting data from apps like Apploye, then employee will be able to like self-evaluate for themselves as well, right? Because then they will know like I am spending so much time on something else or something that, then they could actually evaluate by themselves. So be able to be disciplined by yourself and be able to like assess yourself, like how you are doing, how you need to actually measure what is the point, how you could improve, and have feedback. So this feedback could for when I'm actually assisting myself, I actually do my own feedback, right? Like I look at my iPhone screen time a lot of time, and the first time when Apple actually brought this feature last year, I first realized I spent too much time in social media per day is 1 hour. That's still like too high. Shourav would say like too high. How I'm luxurious that I'm spending too much time in social media. But like for me, I do a lot of like mentoring and like communication with people that actually being done by WhatsApp or Slack. And in this iOS version, like they do not give you like a lot of control, like how you could actually move one app from one category to another category. So it's all the like social media and social networking. Yeah. So like be able to actually track, then actually assess yourself, then give feedback to yourself is very important. So I set a limit for myself. Nobody's actually like asking me, or nobody's actually telling me like why you are spending like 1 hour in social media. So that's my own feedback to myself, that me as a person, Asif, I do not want to spend like 1 hour in social media. That's my own feedback. So when you know, like you could talk to more people, right? I read in Facebook or other thing every day that one of my friends just quit from Facebook, one of my friends just quit from Twitter. That's happened every day. So those people come to know at those because they are tracking. They had those understanding, like they're spending too much time. And I'm sure like you have seen this post by friends.
Actually, I quit Facebook for 1.5 years, you know, because like I thought that it's a distraction. And then when I came back again, so I made my Facebook as LinkedIn. So I always add business people. I don't add my personal friend. So what happens is that I'm using Facebook as LinkedIn. So that's like you. So it's not a problem.
What really helped my productivity regards to Facebook, I installed the extension that killed my whole feed. So I don't see anything on the timeline. And if I open Facebook, I will see just the quote there, and that's it, right? So I don't see anything. I cannot scroll like infinitely through the feed. So yeah, it really like gave me like extra hour per day or extra I don't know 45 minutes per day, because it's up like a lot quickly.
What is the name of this extension?
Newsfeed eradicator. Newsfeed eradicator.
I use like one of another like very interesting Chrome extension. I think what it does, it actually makes your YouTube completely videoless. So you could visit YouTube. There is no video. It's just just the audio. So how it helps? Like if, I discover a lot of content through YouTube as well, because a lot of the video, a lot of like webinar are in YouTube, but I do not want to actually look at those. Maybe I have it playing in other windows or something. But like if you have video running, they will always try to push a lot of like video that you really tend to like. It could be music, it could be like 10 things that somebody did, or like what you have actually viewed already. So those are really good advice. I would really love to actually use the extension you mentioned. So, but
yeah, I will show it if we will have a time in the end of the webinar how it actually looks like.
But for me, like I started using that YouTube extension because in my report in Apploye, I seem like I'm spending like too much time in YouTube, and I do not want to. That's why I actually try to limit myself. So it's very important to know like what's actually happening. So those are like some of the example of implementing some of the exercise in real time. The first advice is like find a virtual assistant. So if you're like if you have like too much things on your own, it's actually better to have a virtual assistant who could actually automate some of your tasks, who could actually get things done for you when you don't need to be involved right away. We already spoken about like maintaining a really good to-do list, which is very important. Then you need to actually align your focus on important tasks first. But you know, like I also like do another thing that actually I decide for myself that I will do like 10 things, and I have this Trello board for myself, like Asif person, the name of the board, and there is like one board for like today. So in that board, I have like 10 tasks for me today, but as I'm a person who becomes happy in very small things, so I would want to be happy in the earliest in the morning. So what I will do, I will start with the easiest things first, because then the number of the task is completed. It will look filled. So I will actually take the small one first, that is easier one. Then I will feel better for myself. Then maybe I will actually open up a book, read like a few pages. Then I actually jump in because I'm more charged up right now. So it's very important to prioritize at the same time. I'm not saying like ignore the important task. You have to prioritize the important task, but you need to be better throughout the day, right? And for a person like me who wakes up very early, I could probably get done more by the time like 9 a.m. or something, because I started my day very early. So that actually helps me. And when I feel a little bit like complete in myself, I feel like I am done with 60% of the task that I was supposed to do. I will feel even better. I will be more charged up. So that helps me.
That's interesting approach, because I heard quite different rule that you should start with the most difficult ones in the morning. But I understand the logic behind it, because it's like that you will start with the small ones, and it will give you like the momentum and the confidence to crash the rest of them. So yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, it works for me. I'm not saying like it's for everyone. I don't know like what Shourav does. But
yeah, I'm the opposite one. So
okay. For me, I really want to be happy each and every time. So I would actually even go into different length just to find happiness, just to find like small things that could actually make me happy. And removing distractions is also like another very important thing. So sometime in life we have a lot of like junk kind of work that we are doing probably every day, and that actually probably will distract us. You need to actually get rid of those. So even like YouTube video, maybe just get rid of the video, then it will be a lot like less distractions. And if you remember in the very earlier slide, people that's though like that's a very generic report, but people spend a lot of time watching TVs as well. Right now I'm sure like this generation doesn't spend a lot of time watching TV, but before, like try to think maybe 10 years ago, a lot of people are spending like a lot of time watching TV. So for us, we don't watch TV anymore. And this is another advice: say no to multitasking. uh, Usually I was kind of that guy who will have like tons of tab open. So I'm always on top of everything. I'm doing everything, but it's a very bad habit, and this is a very bad approach. Try to prioritize, get one things done, then move from one to another. That's very, very, very important. Otherwise, if you consider yourself like you are good at something, you are good at marketing, you are good at writing emails, you are good at like convincing people or good at programming, but if you're not like focusing, if you're not like giving 100% of it, if you're multitasking, trying to manage so many things, ultimately you will not get the 100% result, right? Because you are not focusing 100%. So if you think even highly about yourself, stop multitasking. Try to
I
get
mean, the human brain isn't actually constructed for multitasking. It cannot do like multiple times at the same time. What brain does is that in the moment when you decide to change the activity, the brain will give all the activity to this one thing, and then after a minute you will change it to this one thing. So it's not like that you're giving 50% this, 50% that. You will give 100% to each of these tasks, but for a really short time, so you don't actually make anything happen. So it's really good advice to just close all the tabs, have this one goal you need to finish it, and move to another one. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would advise like anybody who is actually interested to like learn more about any of those topics that we are actually discussing here, to read like two books. One is like Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, that actually talks a lot about how we make a lot of like very interesting decision on the fly, but it's very important to understand how that on the fly decision comes, and it has a lot to do about your experience, your life, and everything, and also the habit. Like habit formation and how habit works is also like very important to understand, very important to see that part of the science. I think like Shourav will talk more about that part of the like habit formation and other thing. And promote self-discipline. I could like happily say like I really try to promote a lot on like your self-discipline, how you need to actually even have get into a shape, get into a routine, prioritize your task, try to understand like how you are actually going through the main goal of your life. So promoting self-discipline is very important, and if you do not do that, maybe you will not be able to actually get the same result for your own company. So it's very, very, very important. Sure. Do you have like anything to talk about like this slide?
No, yeah, it's fine.
Guys, if you have any questions so far about productivity and how to boost it, just don't feel afraid to ask below in the comments, and we will be talking with you and discussing this topic with you. All right, guys, let's go. Let's move on.
Yeah, this is like one screenshot of Apploye app that actually shows like how we could actually measure like what's the productivity level of individual employee with the whole team, whole company, and the whole group.
Even you can track yourself.
Yeah. So I think like you should start with yourself. Then you will actually understand the result better. Like if someone is actually a bit confused, like how you should actually use Apploye or how this kind of data could help, install Apploye. You have like 14 days as a trial. Install for yourself, try to understand like how you are spending your own time. Then it will be easier for you to self-discipline. It will be easier for you to understand how you're spending your day, and it will also always show like how active you are in any particular time of the day or overall in a day. So challenge against personal productivity is more about like I would not say like a lot of people will understand beside actually really digging deep inside on his data or other things. Idleness could be a like very important challenge for a lot of people if he's not actually like looking into very detailed, and disengagement and dissatisfaction could happen like when you are actually not understanding how you're actually doing work, how you are actually like even getting things done, and excessive leisure time. Uh, as we were speaking yesterday, like sometimes people feel like they're already doing good, so they don't need to actually track properly. They don't need to actually even understand how they could even do even better. So if you do not challenge yourself, any of those things could happen. And social media, I think like that's actually one of the like main reason of all the distractions, all the waste of time we're having right now. Like try to think like what we are actually doing in Instagram. We're spending a lot of time in Instagram. I'm not saying like you should not spend time on Instagram. The thing is like, do you really have that time? Do you really want to spend like that much time of or that much of your time per year? If when you are looking at a single day, you are spending maybe 20 minutes. When you like multiply this by 365 days, how does that look? How much time you are actually giving to that business so they could actually sell your time? If you do not measure, you will never know. And unsound health and mind. So as Jacob is doing right now, so he doesn't look at like what people are doing in his timeline. So he does not need to be worried about like what other people posting, what are the things are happening. If he wants to learn something, maybe he will look at the newspaper, or he will go to like somebody else personal timeline or something. So it will be easier for him to understand.
Yeah.
And time spent with media, this is like an average calculation. So in an average, people are spending about like 5 hours in internet per day from any device, 1.5 hours in social media from all the device combined. And that's also a general calculation, like 3 hours in TV, either like in Netflix or YouTube or like normal TV. And people are in an average spend like 47 minutes in streaming or music. So if you look at this report, actually came from HotSuite, and from this report you could understand like we waste a lot of time per day, every day. So unless you track, you do not know. So it's very, very, very important to track. And this is also the other screen of Apploye that shows like if you start tracking with Apploye, it will show like which app you are using and for how long. And it could go like even more details. Like if you are using like browser, it could show you like the website you are spending most of the time. So even if you do not use the like screen, if you turn off the screenshot, if you like do a lot of those settings, still you will be able to learn like how much time you are spending on particular app, how much time you are spending on a particular website, and that will actually help you to understand far better. Tracking is also the other one that actually talks about like what website you are browsing and how you are actually spending the time. For the next slide, I will actually give it to Shourav, and he will actually do the rest of the presentation.
All right. Thanks a lot, Asif.
Yeah. So this webinar is very important to me. So everyone is ready, and in the next 30 to 40 minutes, I will put some values from my life and what I have read about it. So why I am so much interested about this topic, first I will tell that, but I hope everyone is ready. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I think we are, yeah.
First of all, why I am so interested about this topic, because I felt this when I after graduating from high school, I got a scholarship from Chinese government to study in their country, and I was like, they gave me everything for free, and they gave me like scholarship, everything. So it was a very lucrative choice. So I went there, but what happened is that after some days, I was feeling disengaged from the society, because Chinese society is very different from the world. Actually, like none of these things that we actually do or our life, that China is a whole different world. So I was feeling very lonely as well as disengaged. So at that time, so I was really like, I was falling to ADHD and a lot of depressions kind of stuff. So that's why I had to work a lot to improve myself, that uh, what I need to do scientifically to be a better person, and what I have to do to conquer this adverse situation that I am facing. because social loneliness is almost equal to it's like a flight or fright response, because in ancient world, if you did something wrong, you would be put in a place where there is nobody. So it's kind of a punishment, and that kind of adverse situation you have to adapt, and you have to like work a lot on yourself. So that's I researched a lot and find a way to help myself. So if you are facing a procrastination issue, like you are not being able to you are not being able to actually like get a grip on yourself, or you are actually like having a lot of issues in your life, and you are not being able to do work properly. So these are the people that I will be looking forward to help in this webinar. But if you're already very productive, so I think what Asif said is like already okay with that. Yeah. Number one thing I would like to say is that your brain is not you. So what do I mean about regarding that? So most people think that their mind or their think or their brain is themselves, but your brain is just a tool. So let me give you an example. So anxiety and stress is something which is actually not built in ourselves for our own good. It is not built in ourselves for hypertension or something bad. Like people see anxiety or stress as a bad thing, but it was actually it is developed within ourselves for a good reason. For example, in ancient world, when there was hunter-gatherer society, so if there is an attack in a village, you will have this stress and anxiety response, and on that time your body will work like it is on 2x speed, and you will be really pumped to do something about that. So that's anxiety and stress, and is very important. But what happens is that, for example, you are going to a public speaking in front of like 100 people or 1,000 people. So at that time, you're also feeling anxiety. So what is the matter here? Because your brain is not used to this. So your brain is thinking that, oh my God, this is the same event as if someone has attacked you. So your brain doesn't interpret that difference between your village being attacked and you coming in front of a public speaking for the first time. So know this in advance, that this anxiety was given to you for a purpose, and if you can understand that why you are anxious, then you can reduce your anxiety, and you can understand that this is normal to have, and you can move on. So I think I communicated my idea. And also, if you want to use a tool, your brain is a tool, so you have to use it on your advantage. If you want to use a tool, you have to know its manual. Like if you want to use Apploye, you have to go to a support page. You have to go to your YouTube tutorials. So if you want to use your brain on your advantage, you have to understand what brain is and how it functions. So if you understand it like a little bit, then you will be able to like help yourself a lot. Yeah. So the next size is the habit loop. Actually, more than 40% of what we do every day is depend on our habit. So like a lot of the work that you do every day, is not your choice. It was built from your habit. So how habit is formed is that you have a cue, like something that triggered this habit, and you have a routine, that the action itself, and then you are getting a reward. So let me explain. For example, like for example, if you are anxious, you're smoking a cigarette. So there is an if, and then there is a result. So if you are anxious, so the first cue is that you're anxious, and then the routine, that what do you do after you are being anxious. So the routine is smoking itself, and the reward is that after smoking, you get a good feeling. So that is the reward. So that's why habit works. So if you do anything, so the first thing will be that you are doing this. For example, you are going to work out every morning. So after you wake up, that is an event, that is a cue, and then you're working out. That's a routine. And after your workout, you will have release of dopamine that will work as a reward. So habit, like good habit or bad habit, everything works in this way. So what can you hack about it? If you are trying to build a good habit, what you need to do is that associate your habit with a particular event. So if you want to drink like 2 glasses of water in the morning, so associate that with an existing habit that you already have. For example, you have a habit of uh, like brushing your teeth. So after you do that, make a habit that you are drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
So and then again, you might have some.
Asif doesn't agree, or do you?
I agree. Like that's very good advice. So you're already doing something, but you want to bring something else as well. So you do that, and that comes automatically. I read the book like Habit already, so I know like habit formation is very, very, very weird. So if you want to get rid of something, you need to create like a opposite habit to get rid of that.
Yeah.
So his advice is very, very, very great in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to give like example from my personal life, because when I go to workout, I usually, not usually, every time I drink like my pre-workout drink, and every time when I drink it, in my brain it automatically triggers that, hey, you're starting to work out, and then it's way easier to get into that mood and to start working out. And when I started like having this routine, then it got quite easier as well to add like good diet and to add good food to my routine. So it all adds up. Like with one routine, you can build a whole like set of good routines, but it works the same way if you're building a bad routines as well. If you're going to sleep late, then you may be hungry in the night, so you will be eating late, and then you will be building the unhealthy habits. So yeah.
So this was building a good habit. So you work it anyway, like workout, if you want to read books, if you want to wake up early, everything works in this way. And then again, there are some bad habits. So you might fall into addiction, you might fall into different kind of bad habits. So how do you solve those using this loop? So the cue and reward, you cannot change those. So there will be always some anxiety in your life, and on that anxiety level, you will have always want to have the reward of having a cigarette or having smoking. So if you want to like make a shortcut around this, is not possible. But what you can do is to change the routine itself. So there will be cue, which is anxiety. So instead of having cigarette, do something which gives you a good feeling, like which gives you a rise in your dopamine. For example, you can have a cold shower, you can have some good food, or you can have some like good drinks. So anything that actually give you a reward. So what you are doing is that removing the routine which was bad and then changing it to something which is good. So I made myself clear here. So anything like if you are in addiction of any kind, what you have to do is you should not deprive yourself from the reward. You should give yourself reward, but change the routine.
I see. But first of all, you just need to be aware of that you are having like a problem and that you're having this habit loop. So yeah, there's a step before that actually. So how would you actually help people to be more aware of their routines and of their habits?
Just like I said, that you have to you have to really focus on your cue when this habit is rising. So
I see. Okay.
Situation, is it happening that you're having this party with your friends, or you're going to a particular place, or some kind of stuff? So you have to understand that cue and work on that. As well.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, so willpower is a limited resource. So this is contrary to many beliefs that people can do anything, people can be anything. That could be true to some extent, but for people, like most people, it is not. Your willpower is limited. So for example, you wake up, you wake up early. Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
So you wake up early and you are just scrolling on your Twitter feed. So your mind is actually telling you that you should not do that at this time, and so that is how your willpower is working. That it's constantly working to remove you from doing this thing. And if you want to close your Twitter and go to work or go to exercise, you need to spend a lot of willpower to do that. So if you are spending that willpower at morning, it will be like almost like sure that when in the evening you will do something that is not good. You will do something, you will not have control on your mind. So what do I mean by that is that, for example, if any particular day you are doing something, like you are doing a very hard work, or you are doing something which has involved with a lot of stress, you will find that at the end of the day, you will do something that is unhealthy. You will like eat a lot of food, or you will like binge watch movies, something like that. So the science has proven that willpower is limited. So don't use willpower to build your habit. Don't use willpower to actually make your life better, but use systems, use strategies, but don't rely on willpower.
Can you give me like specific example like of this system?
Okay, so like you have to understand the science behind the productivity, then you can build that system. But if I say about willpower, if you try always that I will not be using social media, I will not be doing some addictive work. For example, like you are addicted to take a lot of junk food. So if you always try to use willpower to actually not eat that junk food, it will work someday, because someday you will have depleting willpower. Someday you will be anxious. Someday you will be weak on your mind. So that day you will definitely go and eat that junk food. So what you can do is that, like, use the habit loop. So when you are having the cue that you need to eat junk food, just go to have some fruit juice or something like that. That way you are getting the reward, but not you're bypassing the system. You are not fighting with yourself.
It reminds me when I was doing this 10-day detox, that I really couldn't eat almost any sugar except morning and some fruit, and I really had sugar cravings. I really needed to eat some snacks, but I figured out that if I will eat like 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, that it will go away. So every time when I needed urge to eat something sweet, I just went to the kitchen and I got 1 spoon of coconut oil and it was gone. And this was
You
away.
also have a lot of productivity hacks as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of things are resulting with your life as well. And don't misunderstand this, that willpower is limited. It doesn't mean that you cannot improve. For example, you already have a muscle. So you can, like, for example, lift 25 kilogram. So in one given day, actually you can't raise like 50 kilogram. It's not possible. You should not try about that. But if you build that willpower muscle every day, and then after some time, like it's the same like body. So if you are working out, then someday you might be able to have the skill, have the energy to raise 50 kilogram, but not today. You have to understand that. So if you don't understand your limitation, then you will not be able to work around. I am a little bit I am more intended to Stoic philosophies. So I understand that as a human being, we have some built-in struggle within ourselves. So if you are always fighting those struggles, then it is very difficult to bypass those. Using path to least resistance to avoid procrastination. So this is the most important slide in my webinar. And what do I mean by that? You can resonate this in every aspect of your life. So just again, I said that willpower is a limited resource. Don't use willpower to make yourself a better person, but use the path to least resistance. What do I mean by that? So you're saying that people are going in this road. So most people will go to the road which is actually easy. Can you see that from the webinar, right? Yeah. So why do people do that? actually everyone has this tendency to do a thing that is actually least resistance or takes less effort. Actually our brain takes a large amount of energy that our body creates. So our brain is a small organ in our body, but it takes a huge portion of our energy. So what it does, it like our brain always tries to save energy. So it has been designed to save yourself. Your brain was not designed to solve complex mathematical problems. It was designed to like
Survive
work,
winter.
survive. It was designed to uh, like hunt, those
Yeah.
kind of things. So when you're doing some complex calculation or like handling some difficult situations, so what your brain will do is that fool yourself and give you a thought that this thing is very complex, make you a discomfort feelings, which will encourage you to do something which is easy. So for example, you are making a very tough presentation, or you're making you're solving a complex programming challenge. You will have a very discomfort feeling in your mind that it will give you an instinct that okay, open something very easy, open a YouTube video or cat video, or open a like a Facebook news feed. So many people are actually in this mood. So when they go to do something like hard work, and then they have this thing that they have this cue to do something easy, and they are distracted. So what you do is that my first advice would be solve some problems every day. Like you could do some math problem, you could do Sudoku or anything. So what it does is that it will habituate your brain to do difficult tasks. So you will not have to escape from your real life situations. This is number one. And number two is remove make your life in a way that it tends to do the path to least resistance. What do I mean by that is that if you are facing problem that you want to run every day when you wake up, and on that instance, what should you do actually is that keep your running shoes like just beside your bed. So when you're awake, you will definitely see that these running shoes, and you will be tended to do that.
Yeah.
So you're not making your important task harder. So if your running shoe is in another room, you might not be intended to go to that room and take that and go for this difficult journey. Then again, if you are you give an example that you are not having your news feed, right? So you have a Chrome extension that removes your news feed, right? So if you want to see your remote news feed, you can very well disable your Chrome extension, but you are not doing.
Yeah.
So do you know why? Because that is the path to least resistance. So if you want to just go to your Chrome extension and disable it and then come back, so it takes a lot of time and it's a discomfort to your brain. So it will just away. It will not use Facebook, or it will not check your Facebook newsfeed. The same way, what you do is that, for example, if you don't want to see like binge watch YouTube, if you don't want to use binge watch Netflix or Facebook, just log out from them that place and write your password in a different place where you have to go to and see that password and then log in and see the difference. So you are understanding what I mean,
hard,
right?
Yeah, make it as difficult as possible. Yeah, I see.
Right, and if, like, for example, if you are smoking every day, so like just keep your cigarette packet in a different room or a different place, and that will make a small change. So make your workplace, make your work life designed in a way that you are encouraged to do good things. So like like you should in your home, in your office, just make the environment very easy for work and make the environment very difficult for distraction.
I see. Okay.
I do see like a lot of people who are smoking. They will say like they want to actually stop smoking, but they can't because of this and that like type and another thing. But I personally believe it's all about actually their own will and what they really want. So I'm not saying like willpower. I mean like if they really want something or not. So if they really want to actually stop smoking, they could just go into Google, search. There are so many small like advice and life habit what they could do to stop smoking, but they will not do that because in their mind, when they're even saying like they want to stop smoking, they really not. They're saying that because you want to hear it. They're saying that because the person they're talking to maybe feel good when they say like I want to stop smoking. So if they really want, they could really do that, but
I mean, it's also way easier to play a victim, that it's not my fault that I cannot stop smoking because I'm in the environment of people who smoke, and I've been smoking for 20 years, so it's difficult to to stop smoking right now. So yeah, it's just easier and more convenient for people to actually play the victim and not take the responsibility and go to the Google and do the research and actually start doing the steps to stop smoking.
I spoke about smoking is like scientifically proven. Smoking is not really addictive in neuroscience standard. So it's all about like people's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something that your body really wants every day or something. It's actually your mind. So,
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any question about this, the path to least resistance? And maybe I couldn't make this too much clear because we have limited time. But what I wanted to say is that make your life, make your work life, and make everything, your relationship, everything in a way that it helps to move to a positive aspect. For example, if your circle, like if you have friends who are productive and if your friends who are doing some great things, you will be tended to do great things. This is for the same reason as well.
Mm-hmm. I would like to add to this slide that doing the difficult things on purpose can actually help you to start to be more disciplined and to build these healthy habits. Because I did the challenge that for 30 days in a row, I went on the Stairmaster, just stair simulator, and I was going up for 30 minutes for 30 days. And I saw the difference in my daily routine and my daily tasks, that I just saw a task and I just did it because there wasn't like any chance of not doing it. Because I built the discipline over just going to the stairs every single day, even though that I really didn't feel like it, I had to do it. And it translated into the whole, like my lifestyle and work day to day work life. Yeah.
Actually, I would add to your topic that doing discomforting things. So, for example, if you look to some successful people, like just think about the most successful people you know. So, if you think that they are from their morning routine to the end of their day, they are working relentlessly, they are working out, they are doing everything, but and you are not working that smart, but that's that much. But at the same time, you are not being able to go to the gym or take care of yourself. So actually, if you think about it, both of you guys are having the same life, and for him to actually work, for him to actually run 2 to 3 kilometers every day, it's not that hard for him that you might think, because that is actually his habit. So he is accustomed to that. So when you will be running 1 or 2 kilometers every day, so there will be like your brain will be accustomed to this, and it will not be that difficult for you as well.
I mean, it might be difficult for him, but if he's really successful, it means that in the course of his life, he built that grit and that resistance, that he just knows this feeling. He knows how to understand this feeling, and he actually understands, or she, that it's in his or her advantage that they are feeling uncomfortable. So they will do it anyway, because they know that in the past, it worked for them, and that's the reason why they are successful. So I think that it's maybe more than it's more about like being self-aware of these feelings you are feeling when you are about to do what you don't feel like doing.
Okay, great. Now, I would like to do this, just have a second with the concept of flow. So the concept of flow is not new. Many people say that when Newton or Einstein had those bursting few days, they were in the flow, and they were able to bring those results as well. So the what is flow? That, like, for example, you are having to give it like a term paper or research proposal, and you are procrastinating like 1 month, and then at the end of 1 month, like, you have 1 or 2 days, and you really worked hard to bring that paper. So what happens is that the last 1 or 2 days, you are like, you had this flight or fight response. So like flight or fight response. So you are working hard, and you feel that your brain is working really like great. So this happens before the exam day, before something like, before some great events. So you will find that you are working like for if you work 1 hour, it's equivalent to 10 hour in another day. So that 1 hour is actually a flow state. So if you want to be in a flow state, like if you want to create flow state on demand, not on a pressure, then what you need to do is that you need to create the artificial pressure on yourself, that to give a deadline. So people, it's called a Zeigarnik effect, that people have a general tendency to adhere to deadlines, as well as when the deadline comes, they feel discomfort that they haven't done that thing. So give deadline to yourself, like give on advance, that I will do this particular task in 2 days. So it will automatically create a pressure of flow state. And also what um, the mind is of two kinds. Is that one is diffused mind and one is occupied mind. So when you are doing small tasks every day, when you are scrolling through social media, you can't have a mind which is actually mindful. So be bored, actually, like having to be bored is actually a good thing. If you are not bored, boredom is actually discomforting, but if you are bored enough, then you will be able to reflect on your life, and if you will be able to come up with great ideas. So the scientists actually tell people nowadays to get bored. Nowadays, things like you can watch movies, Netflix, everything. So people are not bored. So that's why you need to get bored to actually come up with creative ideas.
Interesting. Like I have two daughters. I was talking with another like senior person the other day, who I think like raised his kid very well. So I was asking him like, what do you do? And he was saying the same thing. Like, bored kids are the best one because they are bored at whatever toys they have, whatever like reading they have, and if they are bored, they will try something else. They will try to create their own game. They will try to get out of comfort zone. So boredom is good. Like it will actually stress you. It will like put more pressure on you to like do something else. So that's a great advice, Shourav.
So time boxing or time blocking, doing deep work. One of the advice that actually helped me a lot is that if you have very discomforting task or task which will mentally challenge you, so just like make a time boxing in of a particular day. For example, uh, like 3 hours or 4 hours. So this advice was given by Cal Newport in his book Deep Work. So like specific day, like in every day, like you have 1 or 2 hour or maybe 4 hour of your day where you will do those discomforting work that actually challenges your mental abilities. And on that particular time, you have to keep every distraction close. You have to switch off your mobile phone. You have to be log out from everything and do that task. This way, you can also gain the flow state. And also, I have heard that Elon Musk actually used this technique as well.
And he gets a lot of done.
For sure.
and and many people are not being productive due to addiction, and their addiction comes in many forms. Even thinking itself is an addiction.
Could be.
So like I used to think a lot, like execute less and think a lot, but thinking itself is an addiction. So addiction could be internet addiction, and there are some bad addiction as well. And scientifically, it's proven that the remedy of addiction is connection. So so if you are more connected to people, if you are more connected to ideas and talk much about ideas, then there is a chance that you can actually get away from your addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting advice.
So there is an experiment about this with rats. You can say another way that, for example, when you have a hip joint lost, then you will get a lot of morphine in your blood by the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're out of hospital, actually you are not addicted to morphine. Morphine is kind of heroin, so it's a drug, but you are not addicted to that drug. But the people who are using that as a drug, they cannot live without it. So what
Mm-hmm.
could be behind it? Because the most people who are addicted, they are kind of lonely, and because they're addicted, they become more alienated, and the society doesn't like them, and that's why they get even more lonely, and they they are not like they can't get away from that state.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay, now I have actually two or three more topic, but I would like to say uh, number one, I told about the marshmallow experiment. So there was an experiment with small kids that there was a few kids, and they get like give every kid a candy or marshmallow.
Mm-hmm.
So and the judges, they told that if you don't eat this marshmallow in next 1 hour, we'll give you another. So after that particular time, it was found that many kid actually couldn't able to like do that. So they
Mm-hmm.
already had those marshmallows, but there was two or three kids who was actually able to not eat those and wait for his reward. So it was found that those kids who were able to restrict themselves from this instant gratification, I would say call it instant gratification, because you are sacrificing uh, your present happiness or your present satisfaction for something in future.
Mm-hmm.
We are not doing that much, but those kids who were able to do that, they actually became very successful in their life. They become like they were really successful in their life. So it makes sense that people who has ability to restrain themselves from present state of happiness or present state of gratification and work for the future actually are the one who become like successful people.
Mm-hmm.
So you really should and also judges ask those kids that what helped you to like to not to eat those marshmallows. So they said that they were just closing their eyes, or they were not looking to those marshmallows.
Discipline.
Yeah, so no, they could actually see that and not eat. But what helps is that the path to least resistance, that don't see it, don't keep it in your vicinity. Keep it in somewhere which is
I see.
where you can eat.
Guys, when did this love for productivity and like this brain hacking started for you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For both of you, I mean, you're productivity geeks, both of you.
Like I said that when I moved to China, so I was really lonely and I was facing lots of ADHD and depression issues. So I had to learn a lot of things to really work myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I really learned a lot of things about branding.
I think like I could remember, go back to my childhood, and like I could remember one thing that probably had a little bit of connection from the religion as well, that I don't want to be a slave of an addiction. I don't want to be a slave of an habit. If I want to do something, I need to have the willpower. I need to have the capacity to do. So in my childhood, I was actually playing a lot of cricket, but when it's time of the exam, I need to have the capacity to restrict myself that I will not play more game. I will actually study more. So I could remember in my childhood, I also tried a lot of like very weird experiment, and I read a lot of like interesting books about those that I had in my house in that time. So, and I think like it's an endless process. I would not say like I'm a productivity geek or something, but I really have a high standard for myself. I will always have a high standard for myself, and I am sure like that's true for every human being. So if you think you are a good human, you have the capacity to good, you need to understand, you need to evaluate, right? How you are spending your time. Your day will not be more than 24 hours. If you are Bill Gates, your day is 24 hours. If you are like just some John or Harry or anybody, your day is still the same. So you need to spend your day effectively. We can't actually stress enough how important to be more productive, how important to like really understand how you're spending your day. I'm not saying like you have to be serious all the time. You need to take break. You need to take like more leisure time. But when you are actually working, you need to be focused. When you are working, you need to understand how to avoid distraction. So this topic for both me, Shorav, and I could understand for you as well, was very close to our heart. And we think like having tool to measure, having tool to understand how you are spending your time is very important. Apploye is a tool that actually built because of our passion, because of our passion to understand our own productivity, understand how we could actually bring productivity to our own organization, to the companies that we are involved, to the company of generally like any of those.
I like what you said, that you need to understand first what you are doing, so you can tweak your behavior and control these emotions. And it gave me like idea I've never thought about Apploye, that it can be used for me only. I mean, I don't have to like track my employees if I don't want to, but if I want to get data about me, Apploye will allow me to do it, right?
You start with yourself. That's the first advice.
Yeah, I mean, makes total sense, guys. And I like the story behind it. You build it because it's your passion, and you actually enjoy this topic. Yeah.
I will have 2 more minutes actually, maybe 3 minutes.
Sure.
One of the last point is the goal and versus system. So don't set too much goal in your life, because our life is like a hamster
running in a
wheel.
loop.
Like for example, like if you have a goal that I will finish this graduation and then I will be happy, or maybe after I earn this amount of money, or after I set this milestone, or maybe after I am able to go to gym every day, I will be like this is my goal. But you can set goal which are like realistic, but what you need to work on is the system to achieve that goal. For example, like if you have if you have a company and your goal is to have 100 client in next 6 months, don't focus too much on that. Build a system every day that what I need to do to actually achieve that goal. For example, like I need to make 10 calls every day. I need to write like 50 emails every day, and I need to make like this amount of progress every day. So this will help to actually have your goal. But you should focus every day on systems. Build system that to achieve that goal. So yeah, and
I like it. So, like, bottom line is, don't be afraid of like the big goals, but have the step-by-step process and create a day-to-day process you can actually follow to achieve this. Maybe on a first look unrealistic goal.
Yeah. Also, removing sunk cost from your life and productivity. So what do I mean by sunk cost? Sunk cost is actually like, for example, if you have invested in a really bad company, and that company is already like is floating, so it is going away. But you thought that I have already invested this amount of money, so maybe if I invest more, then this might come around. So you are investing more and more, and at the end you are having this issue. This happens. This happens
especially for the investor.
It's not only investment; it happens already also in real life. So if you are buying something, so you already bought something which is not good, but to level up that loss, you are doing something
Even more distracting.
Even something which is more distracting as well. So this happens also in productivity issue. For example, like you had like for first 5 to 6 hours of your day, it was really bad. You didn't do something. You are procrastinating, or it did something which gave you discomfort. But don't don't use that as an excuse to
I'm just having a bad day, so I will
I'm
not
having a
work
bad day,
anymore.
so maybe so whatever is lost is lost. Start from that there and finish the day.
That's an amazing advice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I already ate a pizza, so I can have a burger today. I already messed my diet, so.
I'll mess a bit more. No.
Yeah. Guys, this was so interesting. I mean that we could be talking like 4 hours about this topic, but unfortunately we don't have that time. But as I said, you gave me like a really good idea on how to use Apploye in my personal life. So guys, if you want to understand more about your life and about what you're spending time on with before you maybe start tracking your employees and workers, just give Apploye a shot and see what you're actually spending time on with. And I think you will be surprised that you're not working as much as you think that you are. I'm actually afraid to start using it to see the truth.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. So yeah, we will be talking about interesting topics tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next week as well, on 13th, and we'll be talking about Apploye use cases and how to manage your field service, call centers, and agency with Apploye. And the day after will be how we build Apploye, learn how to build a tech startup. I think it will be only you, Sheikh, right? As if you won't be joining.
Yeah, I will be out of country in that time.
All right. Anyway, Asif, it was a pleasure having you. You have an amazing. You gave us an amazing golden nuggets about productivity, and I really appreciate that you joined us. Thanks a lot, Sheikh, that you brought Asif to PitchGround, and yeah, I wish you good luck. What are your plans right now, Asif? What are you up to this weekend and week after?
I will be actually traveling a lot in this time. Right now, where we are right now in Bangladesh, and we are having one of the largest yearly holidays coming from today, actually. So
okay.
Back to very northern part of Bangladesh. Then in 2 days, I will come back and I will go to Singapore. I have a conference I'm organizing in Singapore. So. A lot of things are going on, and actually I really enjoyed even talking in this way. So me and Shourav, what we are actually thinking with especially all the people who are more engaged, who are more concerned about productivity, we will actually keep doing maybe more webinar for Apploye customers or other things.
Yeah.
We want to do more like newsletter kind of things where we could actually share our idea. If I learned something, I want to share with our user, our community, and Shourav thinks the same, that we should actually keep doing it more. And I would like to actually personally thank PitchGround more for pushing us open up to talk in this way. And you have been an amazing host, especially the way you actually give us the flow and how we actually talk in detail. So that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. It was an honor to hear this from you. And I think I like your idea because, I mean, this topic, employee tracking, let's be honest, it's not that very sexy topic that everybody would like to read and hear about. But if you like wrap it into productivity, which is really sexy topic and people are interested in increasing their productivity, it's almost the same thing. So I definitely like the idea, and I would be checking your webinars and subscribing to your newsletter. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. Thanks a lot, Shay. Thanks a lot, Asif. It was amazing. Everybody, if you want to check Apploye deal, you can do it on pitchground.com/products/Apploye and give it a shot. I think you will be surprised on what tasks you are spending your day-to-day task with. So thanks a lot again, everybody. This was amazing, guys. I think we will talk once again, maybe in the future as well. Next week, Sheikh, we will have 2 more webinars. And yeah, thank you very much.
You as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you.